Hello and welcome to another episode of the Christian Reeve podcast. Now, we've not done a show in 2 weeks. I've not done a show in two. I say we, there's no team. It's just me. Maybe Vilma counts as the unofficial podcast member of the team. Hey, Vilma, thank you for everything you do. Yeah, I've not been able to do a show in about 2 weeks, I think. Life has been pretty crazy for various reasons, which I'll get into. And it's funny actually, just before I clicked record, I got a bit giddy because I've just not recorded in a while. And also, as you'll notice, I don't have a guest this week. I had a few, I think I had a cancellation and a no-show, something like that. I can't remember now. It happens quite a lot in podcasting. For anyone that's listening and it's your first time here, I can tell you after 4 years of podcasting, no shows and cancellations and stuff do not surprise me anymore. It's just part of podcasting. But I always tried in the past to make sure I had a backup show, like a show like this where I go at length on a topic. And typically I save that for Patreon with my show Life with Christian Reeve. But as I've said to my audience before, sometimes when things start getting a bit crazy in my life, like crazy busy, I have to kind of sacrifice time, make sacrifices here and there. And to put it bluntly, I just didn't have the time to do a podcast um, for various reasons. One, I just didn't have the time to sit down and actually do the research for a show. Secondly, the time to edit and all these other things that you do behind the scenes, like promoting, etc., etc. It takes time. It's doing a podcast is work, to be honest. And I love podcasting. I have been doing it about 4 years, like I mentioned, and I have big hopes for the show, but at the same time, I do recognize how much work goes into it. And sometimes it can be frustrating. Other times it's very rewarding. But whenever I do the show, when I actually click record, I love every minute of it. And it's like I said years ago. I don't know if everyone remembers this, but I started podcasting because I remember hearing like Ricky Gervais doing his podcast back in the 2000s and just binge listening to that on the train to work to a job I hated, and it got me through it. And I think about that a lot about how your content can help people out, how it can be a source of entertainment or motivation or something like that for other people. And throughout the years, this show has kind of developed into a show that's all about motivation and life stories and chasing your dreams. And I guess that's what today's show in a nutshell is going to be, because I didn't know what to talk about. I have a lot of ideas, plenty of things I could talk about, but I just didn't know where to start, and I knew I needed to get a show out. I don't want to keep people waiting forever until finally the next guest comes. So what can I do in the meantime? Well, maybe I can give you a bit of a flavor of what I do on Patreon, because this is basically what I do, except for that I pick a particular topic and the show structure is a little bit different, but it's principally the same style of show. It's just me talking. Um, and I always wanted to keep the podcast as an interview show because I always found it was more interesting to have a conversation, a dialogue with someone and share their life stories, their experience. Because often when I've walked away from this show, I've been inspired. I can think of many shows that I've done over the years where, maybe I'd had a particularly difficult time at that point in time, and maybe I wasn't feeling as inspired. And I sat down and I listened to that person's story, and now I'm inspired again. This show today, I suppose, serves as a form of motivation. It's my story over the last five, maybe even longer than that. Basically, I guess what this show is all about dream chasing, why you should chase your dreams, what that actually looks like, and why you should keep going. I might ramble, I might jump from story to story, but I'll do my best to kind of hammer home those points as much as possible. Now, if you're listening to this, if you're watching this and you're thinking, why should I bother chasing my dreams? Which sounds like a crazy thing to say, but to be fair, a lot of people don't realize their potential. They're not chasing their dreams. They've given up, or maybe they think they're not good enough and they can't ever do it, or whatever the case may be. There'll be a reason why a person is not chasing their dreams. And I know it's one of those things that sounds quite cliche, like, "Oh, I'm chasing my dreams. I'm a dream chaser." It's very like Disney movie stuff, but it's amazing what can happen when you start to actually try to do it. Over the years, I've had flutters in time when I've really given things a go, but I never really fully realized my potential and I didn't have the right attitude. When I started chasing my dreams, the first dream I chased was music. It was about 12 years ago. I was in a band for about 3 years, and we were really good. Genuinely, we were tight. We were a tight live band. We put the work in. We worked hard. We released an EP, and we were on track to release a second EP. And unfortunately, it didn't work out for various different reasons. But there was a lot of life lessons to be learned from that. And it's funny how, like, throughout the years, upon reflecting on that, as I've grown up, I've started to look at it very differently, and I've come to appreciate what I learned then and what I took away. Some things I kept with me, like my sense of a work ethic, I kept with me throughout the years. I don't disagree with my work ethic and how that has carried throughout the years. But attitude and mindset, that's something else. And whenever I have an opportunity to give other people advice, people younger than me, I always make sure to highlight my mistakes and what I did wrong in the past, and how my attitude sometimes caused problems for me, both with other people and for myself. See, the thing about dream chasing is that you have to have, as Chris Van Vliet says, clearly defined goals. Vague goals get vague results. So you need to look at what it is you're trying to achieve and break it down to something that you can kind of slowly build towards. And see, this is a big part of it. How slow things go. We live in a world right now where everything is instantaneous. You look around you, you look on your phones, you look around, everything just happens right this minute, right this second. And if there's a delay, even for a minute, people lose their marbles. When I was born in the 90s, the internet was just becoming a thing slowly. It was a novelty. I grew up with technology, but it hadn't at that point taken over life. It was slowly enhancing our lives. As we've moved into the last couple of decades, it's become so intrinsically linked to life that now people almost don't know how to survive without it. Like, I give you an example. I was working a hospitality shift the other day, and we were all asked to hand over our phones. And it was interesting to me how when we'd finished and we were about to receive our phones, there were people just who could not wait. They just desperately needed their phone. Now, don't get me wrong. Maybe you have a family, maybe there's, other reasons why you urgently need your phone. But a lot of people, it was just to sit around and be on their phone. And that was it. And this isn't a tirade against technology. I'm just trying to illustrate a point about how people need technology. Like, they obsess over it. They obsess over things happening right this second. And the problem with that is when you're chasing your dreams and you're working on yourself, self growth, that is a process that takes time. And you'll spend your whole life doing that. And things won't change overnight. Like, me learning to sing, that took me the better part of a decade. And I'm still working on it to this day. It went in stages. And I recognized certain things were changing. Like, I had a better ear for things. I could pick up on if my voice was flat, or something didn't quite sound right, or maybe I was out of time or out of key, or all these different things. Like that took time, years. If you're chasing your dream right now, or you're thinking of chasing your dream, a big question you have to ask yourself is, am I prepared to wait? Am I prepared to be patient? Can I be patient? What if it takes years? What if nothing happens for years? Can I still chase that dream with the same level of enthusiasm as the first day that I dreamed? That's what you got to ask yourself. And that's hard because when you're 3, 4 years in and you're getting frustrated at the rejections, frustrated at people overlooking at you, or frustrated that your content's not performing or whatever, it's a lot. I mean, Christ knows I've had my moments where I'll never give up, but I get frustrated. I get down about it. I get upset. I get angry. You name it. But I look at it like this: I don't want things handed to me either. You know, if I do eventually make it one day, I'll know for a fact that I earned it and that I worked so tirelessly to get there. As I mentioned earlier, I've not been around in a hot minute because I've been working, doing stuff. I've been working on an album, so I'm back pursuing music once more. But I'm also, applying for roles every day, auditioning every day, talking to people, going out, networking, trying to make things happen, maybe trying to set up a band in the future. Who knows? Um, every facet of my life, I'm trying to make things happen. And in the time that I'm not doing those things, I'm working. I'm maybe one day I'm a barman, the next day I'm a barista, maybe this next day I'm a car marshal or a cleaner or I don't know, whatever. Like whatever it takes to pay the bills, to give me the flexibility I need to keep pursuing these dreams. But when you've worked like 6 to 7 consecutive shifts, or like me, in the next week, I'll be working every single day, sometimes twice a day. I look at that sometimes and it's hard not to get kind of bogged down by it. It's hard not to get frustrated by that sometimes. And when people ask you what you do, I'll tell them. I'll say, well, I'm an actor, I'm a voice actor, I'm a musician, I do podcasts, and I do content creation. And they say, yeah, but what do you do for a living? As in, it's almost like they're implying that, well, none of that stuff is serious, though, is it? Like, so what do you actually do for money? But I'm not lying. I earn money from gigs occasionally. I earn money occasionally through acting. Hospitality, I lean on a great deal, and it's very useful for the flexibility. And pretty much everyone in the entertainment industry started in hospitality. And another reason why I do it is because, I've done the 9 to 5s, I've done marketing, sales, recruitment, and I'm just not prepared to give 40 hours of my life every single week and be told when I can take holidays and be told when I'm available and when I'm not. No, I don't want that. I want to be free. I want to have control over my schedule. So the only way to do that is to be self-employed, to be a freelancer, to be an agency worker. It's been hard cultivating this lifestyle. I'm still getting used to it. I've only been living as I do now for the last 6 to 8 months. And there are scary moments. Am I going to make rent next month? Right now, I'm halfway there, 3/4 of the way there, but I'm still not there yet. I have to watch your spending, living within your means. I desperately need an electroacoustic guitar right now for gigging. But the money that I saved from my birthday and from my gigs, I'm probably going to have to spend on rent. That's the reality of chasing your dreams. Sometimes you get a moment where, oh, I got this new thing, or, oh, this person did this for me, or, yeah, this thing popped off or whatever. Like you get these little flutters of moments where it seems like things might be heading in a positive direction or they might be working out. But there's a lot of setbacks. There's a lot of moments where you kind of ask yourself, like, what am I doing? You know, it's 3 a.m. and I'm working this bar shift, and what am I doing with my life? Maybe I should pack this in and go get a real job. But then when I think about that, I think about this idea of in 30 years from now, or even 10 years down the road, I've given up on my dreams and I'm working some job I hate. And I think back to this time in my life where I'm having literally the time of my life. I have a freedom that I never thought possible. I'm in love with someone that I didn't even think it was possible to be this happy with the person. I'm meeting people that I never thought I would meet. I'm making friendships that I never thought I would have. I've had opportunities in music and acting in the last year or so that I never thought would happen for me. I might not have made it. You've never heard of me. I am a nobody, but who cares? I love life. There were times when I didn't want to be here anymore, when the idea of waking up the next day was the worst thing ever. And now I jump at it. Yeah, sure, there are moments that I don't enjoy, moments where I'm not in my happy place, but I make sure to live for the moments where I'm doing what I love. And I make the most of things. Even if I am doing like a hospitality shift and hey, it's not really where I want to be, I try to make the best of it. And I've met people through it. And I've made friendships and I've made contacts. And I think one thing it's taught me is professionalism in all areas of your life. Even if it's something that you're not passionate about, give it the same level of passion and energy that you give the things that you love. Because that will shine through. And who knows? Maybe one day you won't have to do those things anymore. I guess what I'm trying to allude to is like why it's important to persevere and not give up on your dreams and what it actually looks like to chase your dreams. Because I think a lot of people, it's like, oh, I work here for like a few months and then boom, I get my break, my big break. Someone said to me the other day, like, oh, you got to wait for your big break. And I'm like, can't wait for it. You have to go out there into the world and try to make it happen. I don't often hear people talk about this, but like the reality is you've got to put yourself in situations where you might get an opportunity. I've met a lot of people recently who could probably influence my career in a big way. They haven't, but I made sure to put myself in front of them and introduce myself and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. If you ever want to work together, please let me know. That's all you can do. You just have to keep putting yourself out there and compose yourself in a professional manner and have the right attitude. I think that's really important. When I look at the opportunities that I've had over the last few years and the things that I've done, I think a lot of that has come down to my attitude and approach to things. I make sure that, I always turn up early, on time, but early. I think that says a certain thing about where your head is at. Like you're early, you get a lay of the land, you don't just show up last minute or, you give respect, both professionally and personally. When you meet people, you don't immediately try to start selling yourself. When I meet new people and I find out that they're doing things that, I'm doing as well, I know that conversation is going to come up. I know that we're going to connect and that maybe we might do something together or maybe not. But I don't immediately throw down their throat the idea that, oh, hey, I'm this guy and you should check out everything I do and please like give me a chance and please, like, you know what I mean? I just think that if things are meant to be, then they will happen. And the best way that you can pitch yourself is through your attitude. Be sociable, be confident, be professional. Focus on who you are, not what you have to offer. You have much to offer, but it's that personality that's going to get people's attention. You know, your skills and talent speak for themselves, but what do you have that makes you stand out? When I look at what I do, objectively speaking, I think it's my personality that is the thing that sticks out. Again, I said objectively. That's my opinion. That's what I see. That's how I feel. People see things differently. People read things differently. I mentioned earlier about all these different things I'm doing: music, acting, podcasting. I've noticed that I have different types of people following me and looking out for different things. Some people only care about the music. Some people love everything I do. Some people only like the acting. Some people only care about the podcasts. Some people don't care about any of that stuff and just want to see me in a live stream and maybe have a fun time there. My point is, you have to kind of accept that whatever it is you're doing, there's going to be an audience for that. And I don't think you should change yourself for said audience, but you have to keep in mind that your audience are all going to think and feel differently. And that's going to shape what you do and how you approach things. But ultimately, they want to support you. They're looking out for you. When I look at the people that have supported me over the last 3 or 4 years, thank you to those people, and to the people that have joined me recently, who've become part of the community. I recognize that they've stuck around because of the conversations we've had, because of the moments when I've maybe shared some life stories, shared some life lessons, maybe given advice or motivational stuff, you know. I always made an effort to try to be real, authentic, because I think the world is full of fakeness and just everyone trying to get out there and impress. I think it is important to make a good impression, but I'm not going to stand on the street corner and beg for you to give me attention. It's just not going to happen. That being said, I will try to put the best representation of me out there and try to focus on what I can do best. I've had people approach me before and be like, you should do this. You should only focus on this. And they don't really get who I am or what I'm about. And why should they? They're not me. They're not living my life. They're a different person. They see it differently. Like I said, everyone's got a different opinion on these things, different approach to these things. For me, the way I look at things and what I'm trying to do is simply this. I'm trying to cultivate a lifestyle for myself where I can live purely off creative endeavors. So if I can make money through doing music and acting and content creation, and I can survive on that, not ever have to work in customer service again and get shouted at or abused or disrespected or whatever, I'll be a happy man. Won't hear any complaints from me. I don't need accolades. I don't need a pat on the back. I don't need, you know, to be some big star. All I want is that freedom to do the things I love and not have to do the things I hate. That's it. But even something like that, which sounds like a very achievable goal compared to, I don't know, being the next Oscar star, and anything's possible. I still think even if you set yourself more achievable goals, like still go for the big ones. Like if someone said tomorrow, like, hey, Christian, here's a chance for you to become an Oscar winning actor. Do you want to go for it? I'd be like, hell yeah, let's do it. Like, fuck it. I'm absolutely that risk taker, and I think everyone should be. Measure your risks, like educated, risks, where you weigh it up and you weigh up your options and consider your responsibilities and stuff. But ultimately, do the thing. Don't be afraid because of like, oh, what if I don't have enough money, or what if this doesn't work out? Or like, I can guarantee you this: you'll regret not trying more than you'll regret like having a little less money or it not working out or having a bad experience. Like, I don't sit and think about the times that I failed. I don't think about the setbacks. I feel it in the moment when it's not happening, but you move on. It becomes part of your story. It becomes part of your strength. It becomes part of who you are. If you give up, if you give in to negativity, if you listen to those people telling you, get a real job, then you'll never realize your true potential. And it's not just about becoming successful or achieving your dreams, it's also about becoming the best representation of you. See, one of the reasons, probably the main reason why I'm so happy right now is that I've become the person I always wanted to be. I've become that person, but it took time to get here. And a lot of it came down to taking chances that I wasn't prepared to take before because I was scared. I, for example, I told you that I make a living mostly from agency work and through music and other things. Like I said, it's scary. Sometimes, like not knowing if you're going to make rent, or not being able to eat properly. Sometimes, or all these things. Like I knew the risks. I knew that it would happen at some point. People warned me. People told me that there would be times when there just wouldn't be work. Other times, there is a lot of work, and you jump at it. But I knew these dark times would come. I knew that challenges would come. But see, the trade-off of getting through that is that I can be available whenever I want to be, whenever I need to be. I don't have to work when people tell me I have to work. I work when I choose to work. That freedom alone is something I never thought possible. It's magic. It really is. It excites me. Now, consider that when I get a creative endeavor, when I get paid to play music, or I get paid for a film or an advert or whatever, that blows my mind every single time. I'm like, I can't believe they're paying us to do this. I can't believe all I have to do is just act. Or as Christian Bale once put it in an interview, play dress up for a living. Think about that. When you were a kid, you just used to role play, didn't you? All the time. Run around in the garden or at school with your friends, and you just role play like superheroes or horror characters or whatever. I personally used to do Batman and Robin. And then years later, you find yourself doing it for a living. It's fun. The other side of this is that when you're chasing your dreams, a lot of people, not necessarily people in the same industry as you or people, well, yeah, in my experience, it's never the people in the industry. It's always, there's going to be naysayers. There's going to be people who don't believe in your vision, who don't see it. They don't get it. They think you're an idiot for what you're doing. They think, why don't they get a real job? They think your head's in the clouds. They think this person must be crazy to walk away from that or to live as they do. They'll never get it. They'll never understand why you're doing what you're doing. And it's not for them to understand. They're a different person. They probably live in fear. I'm not saying everyone is like that. I'm not saying they're even wrong necessarily. I'm just saying that, like, in my experience, the naysayers are often the people who are too afraid to chase their dreams. It's just something I noticed. Never seen someone successful or happy punched down. I've never seen someone doing well or someone chasing their dreams try to put others down for chasing their dreams. The only people I notice that try to pull me down are the ones that are just, anonymous, or people that are just miserable, not happy, just want to shout at the world, I think. And it's sad to see that, but at the end of the day, like, why would I listen to those people? Why should you listen to those people? Why should anyone listen to those people? Is that going to serve you? I mean, I don't think any time I've listened to a negative comment and gone, oh, maybe they're right. Maybe I should just quit now just because this random stranger told me I'm shit or I don't have what it takes or I'm kidding myself or don't quit your day job. I mean, I've fucking heard it all. I don't care. And neither should you. You do have to have a thick skin. You have to learn to laugh at it and find it funny and move through it. But I'd be lying if I said it was easy. It's not easy. It's never easy. It's difficult. I have my moments where I doubt myself, naturally. But I always think about like where those comments come from, why the person's saying what they're saying, what it means in the grander context of things. As I mentioned before, I'm the happiest that I've ever been because I've noticed a change in myself as far as my confidence is concerned. And also the fact that I don't worry anymore. I don't worry about what people think. I don't worry if I'm going to make it or not. I know that when all is said and done, at the end of the line, whenever that might be, I gave it my all. I gave literally everything. And I've had some amazing experiences. My life is unpredictable. I don't know what's next. And quite frankly, that's exciting. I might not be some big success, but that's besides the point. If people only measure what's important based on success, then I don't know. I just feel like a disconnect there. I guess the interesting thing that I find is I often get asked questions like, you know, okay, oh, you do acting. So what's the biggest thing you've been in? Like, what would I know you from? And, I have interesting responses to this. I remember seeing in a book by Andy Nyman, he said something along the lines of, expect to hear this question often and, formulate a good response to it. I like to have fun with it. Depending on the mood that I'm in, sometimes I'll answer honestly and just be like, nah, just hasn't happened yet. I'm still looking, still working hard. Other times I'm like, hey, and I go straight to advertising mode. Check out my website. You can find it there. Other times I get a bit irritated by this question because it is just a question, but it feels like someone is trying to elicit like a negative response from you, like get a rise out of you. I feel like it's almost like, well, of course you're not known. Of course it's someone like, oh, what would I know you from? Well, it's like if I was someone noteworthy, I guess you would have heard of me. Um, in fairness, there are many, many, many successful actors in the world, and not everyone's going to be aware of them. So that's a fair question. And if you're not in that kind of mood and you're just approaching it level headed, it's just a fair question. Like, what have you acted in? But what I've always found interesting is when I do start talking about my experiences, like, well, I've done short films, I've done like bigger films where I was like a supporting role or something. I've done commercials, I've done music videos. Some people are, oh wow, that's really cool. Keep going, man. That's really awesome. A lot more people though are like, oh, okay. Because they were expecting you to turn around and be like, yeah, I'm the freshest act in this, huge hit Netflix series. Oh my God, it's you. And then, I guess what I'm trying to say is a lot of people just only care about fame and, you know, how much status you have, or what is it the kids say these days? Relevancy. How much relevancy you have. Like, I don't give a shit about any of that. Like, why would you care about that? Stuff like that is so fickle as well. Like, especially with social media fame, like, oh, you got a few viral videos, everyone loves you, and then in the next minute, like, everyone's forgotten. Because, as I mentioned at the beginning, things have changed. People aren't patient anymore. They want instant, everything instant. You know, this idea of like living in the algorithm and just following the trends and desperately trying to keep up with things. Like, I can't think of anything worse. I like to party. I like to be in the rat race and stuff. But occasionally, I like to just get off and just chill. watch the ducks in the pond. And it's like the old saying in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Um, Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. It's true. Think about how much has happened in the last 6 months of your life. Try to really just think about everything that's happened in your life. Now look at a year, 5 years. Jesus. In the last 5 years, like so much has changed in my life. I've changed. My life looks completely different. And that was my own doing through taking risks, through being bold, through trying new things, different things. But one of the bigger things was not giving up, not being scared, not being afraid to take a chance. Because I feel like chasing your dreams is a lot like playing the lottery. You'll never win it if you don't play. But if you do play, there's always a chance. No one can ever tell you there isn't. Because here's the reality. Many people chase, but not everyone sees it through. Not everyone continues. Think about this. I've been chasing my dreams for the last 5 years. I've previously chased them, but not to the same degree. 5 years ago, I made a conscious decision that I would try everything, really just give it my absolute 100% undivided attention and see if I could make something of myself. In that time, I've grown a lot. I've changed a lot. I've become, I would say, a better version of myself. I'm always working on that, but I've definitely achieved a lot in that time. I've had experiences that I never thought possible. But from an outsider's perspective looking in, they would probably look at what I've done and be like, well, you're not really made it, have you? You're still working in hospitality. You still, you know, haven't really got any attention. You don't really make a lot of money from it. And I'm like, well, we just see things differently. We're worlds apart. If that's the only thing that you're focused on, well, yours is a sad life. I don't know else to say. I mean, I can't think of anything more dull than just focusing on status and like how much money you have. And like, I look at the more important things like, who do you have to share this with? Let's say you made it tomorrow. You became a millionaire. You became a big musician or content creator or actor or whatever, right? Imagine that. Imagine that for a moment. You've become a success. Are you alone? Are you on your own? Is anyone there with you to celebrate and think about everything you had to do to get to this point? Do you have a friend network, family, people that have been there since the beginning and remember when you sat there and said it was a dream and they thought you were crazy, but they said, go for it. And they kept pushing you. And now you've made it. Or is it just you, me, myself, and I? Like just you all the time? You see where I'm going with this? If nothing else, my persistent failures, if you want to call it that, have made me realize what's important, what really matters. And it's people and experiences. Chasing your dreams, in my opinion, is not really about achieving them. It's about realizing your potential. It's about becoming, about experiencing, about being bold, being daring, having courage. Think about the last time that you got really nervous, you got anxious, scared. Maybe you put yourself on stage and you weren't ready, or you felt like you might flop, but you just did it anyway. Or you got up in front of people and you talked, and maybe you hate public speaking. Maybe you're a massive introvert and the idea of talking in front of people just terrifies you. Believe me, I understand. But you did it. You did it. And for that moment that you're doing it, you're out of your comfort zone. You're realizing that you can be so much more than you allow yourself to be. See, in my opinion, that's what chasing your dreams is about. allowing yourself to be more than what you believe you can be, what society tells you you can be, what other people expect of you. I'll give you an example. Recently, there was someone in my life who I'd met, and they told me they did like sound production or something. And I expressed an interest in working together, right? And we'd worked on different hospitality gigs together. It'd be awkward if this person ever watches this. But hey, this is how I feel, man. And I said it to your face. So there you go. This person wanted to potentially do music production together, but they're a student, they're working hard, they're doing their thing, both doing the same thing, both living off hospitality and trying to do something in film and music and everything else. I did a bit of work for them. It went well. I was happy to do it. Cool. Remember the next time I saw them, they asked me if I knew any big artists and to send their contacts to him and he could work with them. Now, normally I'd be like, yeah, yeah, if I know anyone, I'll let you know. But this offended me. And I think the reason why I was like, hey, I'm right here. What about me? I might not be a big deal, but I've got something. Give me a chance. I found myself in this situation so many times, being overlooked, being the afterthought. I've written songs about it. It's never nice to feel that way. It's never nice to be overlooked, to have people not see the potential in you that you see in yourself, that other people see in you. And in that moment, I knew exactly that this person just didn't see anything in me. And I don't care. I wasn't trying to impress them or anything. But it kind of irked me that, they hadn't for a second considered that they could work with me and actually do some big things together. And I just, I said that. I said, like, well, what about me? Have you considered that? And they kind of just gave a nothingy response. I think they basically like without saying it, said like, well, you're not big enough to work with. That was kind of the vibe. And from that point onwards, I didn't really want to talk to them. I was nice and civil to them, but I was like, whatever. But I keep it civil, kept in touch. Still see them occasionally. Probably will see them again. I think this person realized maybe that they might have annoyed me. And I've just kept it like, you know, friendly, but I'm tired of people like that, people that don't believe in you, people that don't see the vision, people that the only way they see things is in numbers and see this is the thing. Things can change overnight. Right now, I'm doing this podcast and it will reach about 5 or 10 people. Hello to the 5 or 10 people that watch and listen. I love you. Thank you so much. But let's face it, it's probably not going to do big numbers, right? I've done 267 of these now. If it was going to happen, it probably would have happened by now. I think people can't go over the shitty camera setup, which again, I can't afford to change because as we've sort of learned today, I live within my means and I don't have money to improve things. But the minute I do, best believe it will happen. My point is, often first impressions are based on like, do you have that equipment? Do you have this many followers? All this stuff. Like that's the stuff that people care about. Like no one cares until they hear about you. Now suddenly they care. That's what I've learned over the years. And that will sound very bitter. I get that some people will look at that and be like, oh, you sound like you're annoyed by that. No, I've just noticed that. I've noticed that's how people operate. That's how people look at things, especially in this day and age. If you tell people that you're, let's say, a content creator, one of the first questions they will ask you is how many followers do you have? Not, they might ask what content you do, to be fair, but a lot of the time that will be the first or second question because the focus is, well, how well are you doing? If you have a lot of followers, you must be really good. Believe me, I've seen some people that have a lot of followers and they are shit. It's not all about that, but generally most people focus on those things because that's what they care about. Not everyone's the same. Some people see the potential in you and will push you and believe in you, even when you don't believe in yourself. Those are the people to focus on. When you play a gig, maybe there's only five people in the room. Play your heart out. Play your heart out to those five people. You never know who's watching. And besides, you play to those five people, maybe one of those people becomes a fan of yours, a follower of your work, and follows what you do for years to come. That is infinitely more valuable than a million people that probably won't even remember your name tomorrow. These are harsh realities of dream chasing and content creation and all these different things. Don't focus on the negatives, focus on the positives. Look and find the opportunities. See the positives, even if there aren't any. Don't let the negatives bog you down. I'm not telling you to ignore the negatives or to ignore the bad days, but see them as they are. That's a bad day. This was a difficult period. I'll get through it. I'll move through it. Things will get better. Something will come up. One day, someone will see what I see. Someone will see that potential that I have. Someone will see the vision. Someone will give me that opportunity that I know I deserve, that I work for. I'm not just talking about myself here. I'm talking to everybody chasing their dreams right now or thinking of chasing their dreams. You need to hear this. And that's why I'm saying, if you're thinking of giving up, don't you dare. Keep going. Keep chasing. Don't let the naysayers and non-believers put you down. Going back to that story, that person messaged me again recently and wanted to work together and was checking my Instagram stories, seeing what I was doing. And it was interesting because their response was, "Oh my God, you're multi-talented. I didn't realize you did all these things." How many conversations did we have? How many times did I tell you these are the things I did? You just weren't listening. You didn't care. And that's okay. But it illustrated a point to me that some people, they believe in you. They believe in what you do. They believe in chasing dreams. Other people just don't. Like I said before, all they care about is money and numbers and how big and successful you are. I care about people. I care about dreams. I care about the human soul and what makes us human, the human spirit. So much of chasing your dreams is about having an unbreakable spirit, about not letting anyone or anything deter you from chasing that dream, from realizing your potential, from pushing through, from getting through those horrible days and coming out the other side and going, I'm still here. I never gave up, despite everyone trying to tell me to. I never gave up despite feeling like I should. I never did. I never, ever gave up. And now look at me. Now look at what I've become. Now look what I could be. Do you see what I'm saying? It's been a crazy 5 years. It went from sitting in an office in Europe, doing a marketing job that I didn't want to do, off the back of a degree that I did because people told me that I was chasing a pipe dream in music. So I gave up and I got a real job, got a specialism, did it, got 6 months in and just was bored and sad and feeling like something was missing from my life. And yeah, I know it's cliche and yeah, I know it sounds like every other movie you've ever seen or heard in your life, but you know what? I'm just telling you what my life was like and how it felt. It sucked. It sucked to not be chasing my dreams when I knew I really should be. It sucked to not be doing creative stuff anymore because that's what my heart and soul wants to do. That's what ignites my soul. That's what excites me. That's what I get excited and giddy thinking about doing. I got excited about doing this show. And the reality is all I'm doing is sitting and talking in front of a camera. But I got excited about it because I love doing this. Stuff like this. This is what I should be doing. This is what I'm good at. This is what I know I should be doing. And so I do it. But back then, I wasn't. I'd given up. And then one day a guy comes into the office. Thanks, Carl. And he said, a few people I know are doing a short film. They need a British guy in it. I found it funny. It's thousands of miles away from existence. I was thousands of miles away from home, and I was probably the only English guy within 1,000 miles. And I just thought, why not? Why not? I laugh. So I sign up for it. I get the role. It's the lead role. Now I've got to learn lines, make an effort. And I told you about my work ethic. I always give it my all. And I was like, well, look, it's not some big movie or something. It's a student short film, but fuck it. I've done student short films before. I've done this before. I can do this. Let's have a laugh. And I did it. And I fell in love with it. It was everything that music was to me years before when I'd been on stage and I performed in front of people and I'd realized my potential and I gave up on it. Now I was back feeling again, feeling like special, feeling like I had something more to offer than writing emails and content. Now I was realizing my potential again. Now I was experiencing life at its fullest again. I'll never forget the day that I was first on set. It was a really cold day. And I had like a suitcase and like glasses, all these different props. And I remember just as soon as the camera was on me, I was getting ready to speak. In that moment, it felt right. It felt like I should have been doing this years ago. And so I started doing it. I started applying for more stuff. I started getting roles, acting regularly. I started messing around and being creative again. I started up the YouTube. I started again that I abandoned years prior, and I started just like putting silly skits on there. They were terrible, but I was trying. I was trying to learn. I was trying to do something, and I tried a lot of different things. I made my own little web series that lasted about 3 seasons that I did entirely with my own, just me, and I acted out all the parts. It was basically Split, but shit. Basically, in a nutshell. You can check it out on YouTube if you want. It's called Flip of a Coin. So I did that. I did like a vlog series, which was basically like podcasts before I did podcasts, but I was nervous as shit. I didn't know how to talk in front of a camera. That took a long time to do because I felt awkward. I felt like I should put on some sort of show or like, oh, I need to have a thing that I do. And the reality is, I just needed to be me. I needed to be confident and be me. But I couldn't because I felt awkward, because I didn't know what to do, because I looked at what everyone else was doing and thought, oh, I need to do what they're doing because I don't even know who I am. That was the problem. When you chase your dreams, you discover who you are because you learn through chasing those dreams and giving into the things that you enjoy and realizing that you become you become what you should have always been, but you only learn that through chasing your dreams. So I kept doing all these things. I left Estonia was the country I was in, so this would have been 4 years ago. Wow. It was just before COVID, and I remember I briefly came back to London to see family and immediately went up north. I was like, I can't stay here. I grew up here. There's nothing for me here other than family, but it's not home. I don't know where home is. I kind of believe in the whole home is where your heart is thing, but I just knew I needed to be bold and try something different. At the time, I would have been 26, I think, or 27. I'm 31 now. I knew I needed to do something different, and Manchester sounded cool. So I moved up here to Manchester, stayed in some shitty little hostel. I nearly got sick and felt unsafe every night. And we're just sleeping like with one eye open, just like staring. It was fine, but I just didn't feel comfortable. Managed to find somewhere to live. That's a story for another day. Jesus. Um, and then COVID happened, and now I'm in a new city that I've never been, don't know anyone, and I'm locked down. What do I do? So I kickstarted content creation, started streaming for the first time in my life. I'd never done a live stream. I knew what they were, but I didn't know how to do one. There's many people that do live streams, and they approach it in different ways, but I didn't know how to do it. And of course, it was shit in the beginning because I didn't know what to do. And then I learned over time to just be myself. And I started talking about my experiences, things I'd learned. I started playing music again. I started writing music again. Started recording that, putting it online. Started trying a lot of different things, let's play series, just like cringy videos where I'm commenting on something or making jokes about things, skits, of course, acting stuff like monologues, and I just kept making my own stuff up, kept recording music and putting it online. Did the made the podcast, I tried a lot of different things, and I think through pursuing all those different things, I realized, okay, I need to be pursuing these things. Not just because I enjoy them, but because I can make money from these things. I can make a career through doing this. I don't have to just get a 9 to 5 and only live for the weekend. I don't have to work, in these god awful 60-hour work week jobs where they tell me when and where I work and like how many holidays I can have, and I have to apply for approval to get them. I don't have to have that life. I've done that, been there, done that. I don't have to have that life. But the trade off of not having that life, of choosing to chase your dreams and do this, is that there are sacrifices. You are going to be working a crazy amount. Sometimes you're going to be working every single day. Other times you won't work at all. That's what I mean about it. Are you prepared to put in the time and the effort? Are you prepared to be scared? Are you prepared to go out of your comfort zone and realize your true potential? Because I'll tell you this much. If you are prepared to do that, it's going to be a wild ride. And you might discover some pretty surprising things about yourself, but it'll be exciting. It'll be the best decision you ever make. I promise you that. If I've learned anything over the years, it's that chasing your dreams is the best thing you can do. Might never happen. Who knows? Might happen tomorrow. But regardless of whether or not it happens, you will become the best version of yourself. So I say this, I leave you with this. Never stop chasing your dreams. Chase them every single day. Have passion in every single thing that you do, no matter what it is. Love, relationships, work, all of it. Be passionate. Be bold. Be daring. Never give up. Don't let the world defeat you. And most importantly, don't let you defeat you. No one can tell you not to do this. No one can stop you from doing this. No one gets that right. The only person that gets that right is you. The only person that gets to decide that is you. So chase your dreams. Thanks for watching.